Amigo Vanin, everyone. Welcome to another random film review. So, earlier today I saw Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves, and I'm a big fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Not just not so much the first film, but the second film, the third film, but for me especially the second film, Wrath of the Dragon God, direct to video. And now I'm a huge fan of this one. In fact, hold on. Okay, yeah, I shouldn't have used that pause button because for this it just moved to the next screenshot thing. I have this Dungeons and Dragons double feature and Dungeons and Dragons Wrath of the Dragon God. Dungeons and Dragons Wrath of the Dragon God is a much better film than the first one, I thought. I don't know. I think, I think maybe I like Honor Among Thieves about equally to the second one. Third one was also good too, but and I loved playing the games before. I was playing this when I was in my, I want to say, early mid-20s. So not really as a kid. I played it maybe like a couple times as a kid, but I didn't really have a lot of opportunities because I didn't really know a lot of people who played tabletop. I was mostly a PC gamer, computer gamer, my Apple and my IBM. But with this one, it stars Chris Pine. I think his name was Ed, because I think I heard it referred to as Ed. Oh God. Wait, do you see the mouse? Okay, I think this guy's name is Zandor or Zandon or something. I cannot remember any of these other people's names. But she's a druid. She shapeshifts into different animals, and like an owlbear. This is a barbarian, Michelle Rodriguez. This is a mage. This is the evil red wizard. I'm really sorry. I'm really bad with the names. But so basically it just follows this hodgepodge of characters that form this group, and they become thieves. They're that's why it's Honor Among Thieves. They're a band of thieves, and Hugh Grant here, he was one of them, and there was a betrayal that happened, and he is now a villain. It caused Ed, which is Chris Pine, and Michelle Rodriguez's character to be imprisoned for a while, and they were pardoned, but then they escaped, so I guess they lost that pardon, and then they became wanted again. But the film doesn't really focus so much on like their capture. It's about Chris Pine, because he has a daughter and lost his wife. There's something that happens in the film, and the reason why how he lost her, and then he wants to. Before he got imprisoned, he left it to Hugh Grant's character to take care of her until he gets out. So when he escapes and he goes to reclaim her, he doesn't want to give her back, and then he found out then that he had them imprisoned. He was the reason why they were imprisoned. So the whole thing is, so of course they had to flee because they were gonna, he had them killed, or rather the Red Wizard tried to have them killed. And the whole thing is him putting the group, getting his old group back together, which was the Wizard, and they had to get this girl here, this woman, who can transform into an owlbear. I remember her from, I don't even know what her name is. Oh my God. But anyways, the redhead girl, her, she was in Gretel and Hansel, that movie. She was in I'm Not Okay With This, which I wish was not canceled, but it was. And, they're going to break her out. And as they were doing so, they discover there's an even more deeper plot involving this red wizard, and let's just say it deals with necromancy. There's, I think there might even be maybe 2 or 3, maybe more Easter eggs. Maybe I'll say like a couple or 3 Easter eggs, I suppose. But really, the one that stood out to me that I noticed was, if you're a fan of the old animated Dungeons and Dragons Saturday morning cartoons from back in the 80s, with Eric, with Dungeon Master, with Sheila, and Bobby the Barbarian, Presto, Avenger, all that. They're just trying to get back home, back to the amusement park. You'll see those characters there. So there is a part, and it's like kind of close to the end, and it's like an arena scene. So if you watch this, and I highly encourage everyone to watch this, don't let this one pass you by. It's quite excellent. Watch for them, because I guess it could be hard to miss, but if you don't know who they are, then you're gonna miss them, of course. But just a little Easter egg for the fans that know that show. You see them like a couple times, few times, somewhat brief, but you can get a good look at them. They're classic creatures in there. Displacer beasts, mimics, which are chests, creatures in disguise as a chest. I heard areas mentioned like Baldur's Gate, and I've been playing, not recently, but Baldur's Gate 3. I have the early access of that, and I'm looking forward to that, getting the final release of it. But it's bought and paid for, and I've been playing the early access, and I enjoy that. I think it was called Waterdeep, from Eye of the Beholder, that game, the trilogy. I don't think the second one, I don't know if the second one was in, and I think it's Assault on Myth-Drannor, but honestly, I've only played the first one, and that was in Waterdeep. So you have like landmarks that are familiar to those that know the world of Dungeons and Dragons. So I love that. The fight sequence here are great in this film. Chris Pine even sings a couple of tunes in here. I think he's like a bard, but which the only thing I didn't get was, if he's a bard, shouldn't he have bardic magic? He didn't seem to have that, but it's okay. I really love this, and the music he sang in there, a couple songs, true bard songs, are really, really great. They're not crap songs. They are quite good. The dynamic between, Ed, which is Chris Pine again, and Michelle Rodriguez's character, is very, very good. A very great chemistry between those two. All of them, really. The one where you don't really know too much about is maybe her. You know some things, but she's always kind of like a mystery anyways. So it makes sense that you wouldn't, they wouldn't delve too much in her character. But, him, he's kind of like, you could say like a failed mage. He's not very good at it, but he gets better. Along the way, I love how they come across upgrades in their gear. Like, see this wand he's holding? Like this one, let's just say there's a part where they had this all along, one of the characters, and if not for him recognizing that, they never would have known what they had. So this is very vital in the film. There's even a heartfelt moment in here, and this is going to be kind of spoilers, I guess, because I'm about to show something in here. I'm going to inject like a couple of clips in here, or a few clips, so you can kind of see how great this is. This is one that I heard did very poorly in the movie theaters, and that's too bad, because this is really quite good. This is how you make a film that really it does cater to the fans, but not only to fans of D&D, but fans of those who love RPGs, fantasy films in general. Even harkening back to the 80s, like Dragon Slayer and Conan the Barbarian, Excalibur, the John Boorman one. If you're into those type of films, you'll also enjoy this. Not just D&D films, and well, not just D&D fans, but this film, it does have heart. It has some really great comedy, I thought. Just everything is just great about this. Of course, maybe I'm a little biased, quite biased, you could say, but I mean, really, I just think this is something that even if you're not really a fan of that kind of thing, it's just a film that will maybe grow on you, and then you can kind of learn to love it, or it might pique your interest into liking this kind of genre of films, and maybe even want to get into these games. And quickly I'll talk about the soundtrack to this film is very, very evocative of the things you see. It's truly, it's like a medieval, kind of medieval soundtrack. Like when you hear it, it's almost like you almost expect it to be in something like something not like a Dungeons and Dragons film, that has some of that comedy in there. The way they talk, like especially with Chris Pine, sure, he doesn't quite have like any kind of English accent. It's just like him, but all this fits in. Unlike something like Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, Willow, those were absolute fails. They did those wrong. They screwed up. And I mean, I hate to say it, but with their woke agenda, because it truly was put in there, this didn't have any of that. It didn't. It just felt like a natural. Now, someone might say, well, hey, but there's two females here, and here's a strong female character. That doesn't make something woke. They've had strong characters, female characters in the past. Ripley, Sarah Connor. So come on, Lara Croft. So that's not that. Like they didn't. I cannot explain it, but the best way is just kind of read about it. If you want, watch Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, watch Willow for yourself, and it just sucks. Both of those absolutely suck. You'll get the idea, and then you can compare it to this. This is just a natural, normal kind of thing. Very, very well done. Whereas with Willow, there were lines where Matt Monaghan's son said, "Hey, yo, new girl, where you at?" This is Willow. You use lines, new girl, where you at? You don't, where you at? No, I'm sorry. There's a part where there are trolls in that film. The trolls, like in the trolls in Willows, the ones that don't talk, but here they talk. And one of them, as they're walking by, he says, "Is it time for lunch yet?" As they're walking by. So that, no, And the soundtrack for that, the music, aside from, the original soundtrack for that was, the soundtrack overall for Willow was not good, and injecting modern day music. So this is fantasy done right, I thought. So I mean, it's such a shame it did bad in theaters, but don't let it pass you by. Rent this one, or stream it, show support, post theatrical release so that we can get its numbers up. Trust me, it will not disappoint. You'll enjoy it to some small degree. I mean, don't let the fact that when you look it up and you see how poorly it did in the theaters, don't let that discourage you from seeing it. It's a hidden gem, and it has heart. It does. In fact, I watched back that sad part. That's why I said this is a spoiler. This is a spoiler review. Okay, so if you care about that sort of thing for something like this, then don't see this until after. Well, you know what? Yeah, you can end it here because, yeah, I'm gonna give it my score because I will put the spoiler part of a little reaction kind of thing that I did. So it's kind of spoiler. So there's the spoiler part. So I guess I don't have to put spoiler in the title because I'm telling you now. There's a spoiler here. So I'm gonna give this one. I'm sorry. I'm going to give this one an 8.75. No, I'm going to give this one a 9. Yeah, 9 out of 10. And just for, shits and grins here, the first one, I don't know. It's just bad. The first one is like, I don't know, 2 or 3 stars. But Wrath of the Dragon God, the second one, I thought was also very, very good. And that one I would give maybe also a 9, but for different reasons. The second one is really, really good. And the third one I would give like maybe 8.75. Now this one caters a lot more to the fans of the game, because there's a lot of those mechanics going on in that one. So just so you know, different. This one is one where it can cater to almost everyone. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Yes, 9 out of 10.